What's going on, Big Blue Nation? Will Turpin, your host here on the UK Superfan channel. If you're new, thanks for checking us out. Here on the UK Superfan channel, I try to keep you up to date on all things going on within the UK basketball program. I do a preview before every game, breaking down sort of all the matchups and things that you can kind of look for. Kind of just try to make you as informed as I possibly can as to what you're going to see when you tune in to watch our Cats play. With that said, if you're looking for more info on this Notre Dame game that's coming up on here on Saturday, just go back and check out the last video. I did put a lot of great information in there on the Fighting Irish roster and really some of the matchups that you could look at in the game against Notre Dame on Saturday afternoon. And if you could just please hit that like button down there below the video. It seems like the more likes we get, the more YouTube recommends our videos to other YouTube watchers, and I certainly do appreciate that. And if you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And now that we've got all the housekeeping out of the way, what we're going to do here on this video is we're going to look at the keys to victory. If Kentucky's to get a win here against Notre Dame, these are the areas that I feel like that we're going to need to be successful. And, to kind of get this thing turned around. And, we'll get right into it. Right there, number one, cut the turnovers way down. I mean, we know Notre Dame usually doesn't turn the ball over. They only average about 10 turnovers a game, so they're not going to give us a lot of easy opportunities, and so therefore we can't be giving them a lot of easy opportunities. I mean, as a matter of fact, Notre Dame actually led the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio last year, and they return all their guards from that team. So we just can't be giving them a big edge in this stat if we want to keep this game close. We know it's been a big talking point in practice, just to make the easy pass. Don't be careless with the basketball. And, let's just hope that, in this, 4 or 5 days where we focused on that, our Cats can respond and start valuing each possession. And then, really from there, the number 2 point here, make Notre Dame work hard for every point. They're an experienced bunch, and they run their offense better than probably any team we face this year. So we're going to have to do something that we haven't done yet this season, and that's play defense for 40 minutes. Let's face it, everybody on the Notre Dame starting lineup can score the ball. But we've got to make them shoot heavily contested threes. And in the Ohio State game they just played, they made heavily contested threes. And if they make them, you've got to tip your hat to them. But you do got to make them heavily contested and make them, earn every point they get. Like I said, that's why it's so key. It kind of goes with the first one. We can't be turning the ball over, giving them easy runouts and easy points. Or it'll just be too much for us to overcome, because this team is, they're going to probably out-execute us in the half court. So we're going to have to look for other areas of this game to pick up a victory. And, that's how we're going to do it. We're going to need to, right there on number 3, continue to show improvement on offense. The last game against Georgia Tech, obviously the turnovers were bad, but we did show that we could move the ball a little bit better. We shot, a little over 41% from the three-point line. I think that's going to be a key, is to keep trending in the right direction on offense. We can't take this team can't afford to take any steps back in any category. So not only are they going to have to be tougher with the basketball, cut down the turnovers, and, they're going to have to play 40 minutes on defense like they haven't done, but they're also going to have to continue to show improvement on that offensive end. And, that's going to be a big part of whether Kentucky can keep this game close against this, really savvy Notre Dame squad. Next is, if Kentucky, is going to we've got to find some edges somewhere. We've got to find somewhere to get a significant edge over Notre Dame to win this game. And we don't think it's going to be in turnover margin. At least we're probably not going to force them. On the season we don't force turnovers, and Notre Dame don't give them up. So we're going to have to find another area. And where I think that area could be made up is And I'm not sure where it's going to be, but I think one of the areas is Notre Dame's giving up about 12 offensive rebounds a game. If Kentucky could pull down 14 or 15 or more of these offensive rebounds and, convert those into maybe 20 to 30 easy putback points, then that could be a stat that could kind of give us a big edge that could, maybe sway it over to us. Maybe they out execute us, in the half court. Maybe they do that. But if we contest their 3-pointers, limit them to one shot, which is going to be, we're really going to need to dominate both ends of the rebounds, but especially on the offense, because we've got to find somewhere to score some points. And we've always had trouble every game. We've had these little lulls where we've had trouble scoring. So, one way to do that is, it just kind of takes you right down to number 5 there. Out effort, the savvy Notre Dame squad. That's what it's going to come down to is, when you're playing against a team that's just better than you at this point in the season, you've got to beat them by outworking them. And that's going to be 50-50 balls and rebounding. Those are all effort plays. So we must out-effort Notre Dame to get this W. That's the only way, honestly, that's the only path to victory. If we cut our turnovers down and, play 40 minutes of defense, at least, keep, we got to have some, offense, in the half court. We can't just, come down, obviously, and jack up bad shots. We've got to continue to show growth with the ball movement, continue to get better looks. But if we do those things, and then find some area where we could actually beat them, which could be, like I said, the offensive backboard, then that puts us, in a position where we could pull out a victory. It really does. It puts us in a situation where we could do that. So one of the things that I did notice, though, and you can keep an eye on this is something I sort of uncovered late in my research of Notre Dame was, keep an eye on them the last 5 minutes of each half, because they have had a tendency to wear down. Well, they primarily play their starters and, the whole game. I mean, they've got a couple of guys that come off the bench, as we discussed in the previous video, but they don't play a ton of minutes. And they do get a little tired. I mean, we saw that in the Ohio State game. We saw it in the Michigan State game. They looked a little sluggish the last 3, 4, 5 minutes of each half. And, that could be an area where, if we could have a significant advantage, that might really help us win this game. If we're going to win it, that's sort of how we're going to have to win it, I think, is with the energy and effort. Because we're just probably not going to be, we're not at a point where we're going to probably out-execute Notre Dame in the half court. Now, I'll say this. If Kentucky were to win this game, it would probably actually be a much bigger win than they'll even be given credit for by the media or the fan base. But I will tell you this, if we do find a way to pull out a W, it'll surely be a sign that this team can make huge strides in a very short period of time, and they can respond to coaching quickly. And that's going to be very important. I mean, if we could make that much of a stride forward in just, 4, 5, 6 days, that would be really encouraging. And really, all these are great signs for our team, because right now we're just in the beginning of stages of Camp Cal. So, this, if we can see progress in this Notre Dame game, and we can see things to encourage us, about us going forward, then I still think this season could be a huge success. I know I'm really in the minority on that, but, over these next few weeks, let's just keep looking and see if we see improvement. I also believe if we come up on the short end, but we still show continued improvement in our ball movement, if we show improvement in our toughness and our ball security, and they, we just happen to get, come up on the short end of a game against Notre Dame, we could still be on the right road. It may just be us diehards left on the wagon, of a 1-4 team. But regardless if we win or lose, we need to show improvement. And, 1-4 isn't a death sentence for our season. It really isn't. If we're improving. Cal always talks about, can we land the plane before the end of the season? And, Even if we lose this game, I still think if we just see a little bit of improvement, that we over these next couple weeks, Cal's going to get a lot of time with these kids. They're doing some 3-a-days now. Uh, you know, a little bit of a news and note here. We talked about BJ Boston coming into the season as one of the hardest workers and a kid that wants to be great, and he sort of established an old tradition of here at UK, which is the Breakfast Club. Now, used to the Breakfast Club, that's something most of you guys are probably familiar with, but for those of you that aren't in, back in the 2012 national title run, Michael Kidd Gilchrist early in the year formed what would be called the Breakfast Club. And basically, these guys got up really early in the morning, got in the gym on their own. This was nothing that they were required to do. This was aside from all the responsibilities with classes and practice and whatnot. This was something that they did and it ended up being several of them off the team that ended up doing it. It's called the Breakfast Club, and they would get together and they would practice together real early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and get a good basketball workout in, work on work on shooting, get some shots up, and then they would have breakfast together without cell phones. And it would just be a great time for the squad to just spend some quality time with no distractions, no coaches around. And, it was something that proved to be very beneficial to our team, and something that Emmanuel quickly actually reestablished last season. And you saw what an effect it had on us. We got off to a slow start last year, and then Emmanuel started doing that, and other guys followed suit. And so, he's in the gym at, 6 o'clock in the morning. BJ Boston is getting shots up. I'm sure they're probably not able to do the breakfast thing together. I don't know how that works, but if they're having to eat in their rooms or whatnot, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it is a positive to see something that's proven to work for us in the past, and some of that leadership qualities of BJ Boston already coming out. We're going to try to wrap this thing up, but look at this Notre Dame team. They're really, really good. They're full of veterans. These guys, I think they played about 104 games together, in the tough ACC. So, they've got tons of experience playing together. By far the best execution team that we've faced this season, and they'll test us defensively like no team has all season. But, again, if we limit our turnovers, make Notre Dame work for every point, 40 minutes full of effort on defense, hang with them by executing in the half court with good ball movement, pull down 15 offensive rebounds or more. If we can pull down 15 offensive rebounds or more, win the 50-50 balls with great effort, we'll be right there in this game, if not win it. Guys, that's where we're at. Appreciate everybody for all the support. Go Big Blue, like I said, it's nationally televised game, CBS, Saturday at noon. So, this is our keys to victory, what we got here on the board. If we're going to get a W, this is sort of what we're going to, have to do. So, guys, like I said, appreciate all the support, and we'll hopefully Kentucky can get us a big win and get this season turned around, and we'll see you guys right back here on the channel the day after. We'll see you guys back here on the channel Sunday evening with a recap of what we saw. Y'all have a good evening, and go Big Blue.